Speaking of kind of the opposite strategy of let's just keep doing what we've been doing.
Yes.
Told you I had the perfect picture for this.
Yes.
Good, good. Uh,
Good.
so, so last weekend we had Star Wars Celebration, which happened after our live stream. So, it's either this was announced on Friday or Thursday. So either it was too late to pivot to and discuss, or it came too late for us to. Well, either way,
Yeah.
right?
Either way. Yeah.
Too late for us to talk about.
Right. No.
So, uh,
Yeah.
so uh, Disney, for some reason, is continuing to make Star Wars movies, or I should say, they're really serious this time. They're actually going to make these movies they're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. We. Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy said yes. Yes. We're serious about making these Star Wars movies. Even the ones that were canceled. They weren't canceled. We're definitely making those movies.
They weren't canceled; they're just indefinitely delayed.
Yes.
So,
Uh,
I don't think I care about talking TV shows. Uh, you're our
yeah.
Disney Plus correspondent, and you turned down the request to keep watching Mandalorian.
Yeah, and yes, and I'm well aware there are only like 2 episodes left. I don't care what happens in those last 2 episodes. It's just yeah.
Yeah. So let's just focus on the three movies that were announced.
Hmm.
So, we'll talk about the most obnoxious one last.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
so, movie the first is I believe it was called what? Tales of the Jedi.
Or is
Oh,
that that's the TV show?
there's a movie that's like a no, Tales of the Jedi is the TV show. There's a movie that takes place like the origin of the Jedi, or let's see here, Acolyte and or. Don't tell me this is just the TV shows. Oh, this is just the TV shows. I picked a bad article. One second.
And Ninja Toe, you're going to be waiting a long time for that trailer.
Yeah, that one has actually been formally canceled.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. Give me the titles. Okay, so James Mangold is making a movie about the first Jedi to wield the Force at the dawn of the Jedi. So 25,000 years in the past. So James, on the one hand, James Mangold is a good movie maker. I mean, he did give us Logan, as I
Right.
recall.
Yeah, and I've heard good things about Ford versus Ferrari. Of course, he is the director on Indy 5.
Although that project may have been doomed before he got into it. Was it? I forget. I have some half memories of it being development hellish and him getting the director getting swapped.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably. Yeah,
yeah, I
wouldn't
mean
surprise me.
it's a Star Wars production under the Kathleen Kennedy, and so it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
statistically somebody got swapped around.
yeah, yeah. But and he hasn't really been handling the criticism of it very well.
No,
But I mean, uh, so he's going to direct the Space Battle Sharks.
man, that would be cool. Are you talking
Yeah.
about that one race from the Old Republic, the Hammerheads? That would-
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool.
yeah.
But
Um, but I mean, of course, this was in lieu of his Boba Fett movie.
which man, that would have been better if he'd gotten to make like a kind of gritty Boba Fett movie instead of that Boba Fett show we got.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, God, even I was talking about that with my mother, and she was like, "Yeah, they completely changed him. You know,
Yeah,
he's
when your mom is noticing.
yeah." Even my mom noticed it. She was, yeah. It's just, yeah. But yeah. I mean, it could, yeah, it's the one he was referring to.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I don't know. It depends. You know.
Yeah, that's one of those things where It could be good. The worry you have is that they could do an end run, kind of like a Doctor Who in the Timeless Child situation, where they get to now retcon what the Force is, how it works, uh,
Yeah, yeah, and
redefine the light and dark side.
yeah, maybe get rid of the midi-chlorians.
There was one Star Wars novel I read that about Darth Plagueis that actually made the midichlorians kind of cool.
Uh,
I think I preferred, with the explanation I had when I was in junior high, was that's kind of stupid. I'm just going to pretend that it's the opposite, where midichlorians are organisms that are drawn to force sensitive people, so it's an indirect measure.
uh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
so we have our first possibility, which could be intriguing, but it's also, when you have a prequel that far in the past, I mean, basically, that the Jedi are going to be founded.
Right. Yeah.
So the only tension you can really build is who makes it to the end, and you know, so it won't be the threat isn't will the Jedi be founded? It's who makes it to the end.
Right. Yeah.
All right, number two in order of least to most obnoxious. Dave Filoni is getting to make a movie to tie up the Mandoverse of TV shows, uh, which may also tie up his dangling plot threads from the Clone Wars and Rebels, because it seems to me that this is going to be, I believe it's Heir to the Empire,
Okay.
so Thrawn,
Not the true heir to the Empire story, though.
right? It's Heir to the Empire probably with Ahsoka and Ezra instead of Luke, Han, and Leia.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they brought Thrawn back in the last Mandalorian episode. Of course, I don't know why I
Did
didn't watch it.
well, and they also had Thrawn all throughout that Rebels TV show,
Right. Yeah.
which has the downside that he was literally a Saturday morning cartoon villain. So some of the
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can point to some of the things in his past as stupid.
Yeah.
This was also the show that gave us the helicopter lightsaber Sith.
Oh yeah. 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 Jeez. Yeah. I mean, Filoni, he's been kind of stepping in it lately, especially with the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
That the Mandalorian episodes that he's directed have been really hit and miss, mostly miss. Like he did that one in the first season where he's on Tatooine. That's when they meet whatever her name was.
oh,
Um,
the the one with like the sniper.
yeah, yeah, and
Okay.
then she gets rescued by Boba Fett, and then
Hmm.
she starts working for Boba Fett.
Whew.
Yeah,
To set up that series.
yeah.
Okay, but it I can't really say I care too much about wrapping up that universe. I watched the one season of Mandalorian and nothing else really.
Mm. I, I I I would be curious to see what happened to Ezra because they definitely left that open ended.
Yeah, and then the most obnoxious.
Yeah,
So the last few months have really taught me who has credibility and who doesn't as far as Star Wars leaks.
yes.
I'm not going to name names on the other side, but basically anybody who is saying, "Oh, definitely they're going to decanonize the sequel trilogy using the world between worlds." Either they got bad information or the source was the voice in their heads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The source was trust me, bro.
And some of these people also were saying, "Oh yeah, season two of Star Trek Discovery was definitely the last."
Yeah. Oh,
And
it's
Kathleen Kennedy was fired in 2020, as we all know.
yeah, yes, yes. Time for the Jedi to become space Catholics.
See, I hadn't actually heard that announcement, but then I saw pictures and asked about it. God, okay,
Yeah.
let's break this down.
Okay.
So on the credible side of the Force, months ago in a podcast, WDW Pro on the Valiant Renegade show was talking about how Disney had been doing focus groups to try to figure out what people liked in Star Wars. And so
Yeah.
they were going to throw together Grogu, aka Baby Yoda,
Mhm.
Chewbacca, R2D2, and Rey Skywalker. And
Oh.
I thought to myself, okay, I could see them thinking about that,
Hmm.
but there's no way they're actually going to do it, right? Right?
Right.
But nope. They had Daisy Ridley up on stage talking about being back in the fold, and she gets to make the Jedi Order that Luke should have made.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Seething in rage, seething in nerd rage.
yes, although it's like, I already consider your output non-canon, so it's go waste money on your fan fiction as much as you like, man.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So
Uh,
okay, so Daniel, do you know more about this than me? Like, do you know what this like pictures of Rey pregnant being shown around are?
ah, you know, I
As
don't.
Ninja Cho keeps obliquely referencing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been seeing. I've seen those pictures too, and I wonder if that wasn't some like little short film that they did for Star Wars Celebration to announce the movie, and it was yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been hearing like yeah. Well, she's a Skywalker now because she slept with Force Ghosts.
To quote Han Solo from the one tolerable uh, Disney trilogy movie, that's not how the Force
So
works.
yeah. Well, yeah, and one theory I've been hearing floating around is that when she and Kylo Ren kissed, and then he fades away, that somehow she got pregnant.
That's not how human biology works. That's not even how. That's not even how the virgin birth worked.
Yeah, yeah,
But fun
yeah.
fact: the Immaculate Conception is not actually Jesus. It's supposedly the idea that Mary herself was an Immaculate Conception and was born without original sin in preparation.
Uh, uh,
This is a Catholic concept that I don't have much truck for, but I have to use my words properly.
yeah, yeah. I completely understand. Yeah, yeah. um, yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the deal was with that. And again, like it's she's not carrying on the Skywalker line. She's carrying on the Palpatine line because she's a
Yeah.
Palpatine.
Now I'm going to go ahead and put on my fairness hat,
Okay.
or I'll steelman this.
Okay.
In theory, the idea of a union between a Palpatine and a Skywalker slash Solo to like bring balance to things isn't awful.
Hmm.
Just boy, and Daisy Ridley is not the problem.
Yeah.
Like like Daisy is a Daisy is a fine lady. She's a fine actress. They just had nothing to work with
No.
that character.
No. She was just a well. We all know she's a stand-in for Kathleen Kennedy.
Her ideal British Sona.
Yes. Um, and again, I think not to beat this dead horse, but I mean, we
Hey, Disney brought her back. It's fair game now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, like that trilogy would have been so much better if Finn was the main character instead of Ray.
Yeah. It,
And
it'll be interesting to see if they can bribe John Boyega back.
Yeah, I mean, he is the character was force sensitive. I mean,
Yeah, like the promise that they did anything interesting with Finn would probably be about the only thing that would get me into a theater to watch this movie.
yeah.
And this is like, okay, so a friend of mine actually wants to see Indiana Jones 5. I didn't want to get into the whole like months and years of leaks about it
Yeah.
uh, and everything, but I basically and I didn't. He mentioned people have a bad habit of messaging me on Discord while I'm at work in fast flowing group chats.
Ah, yeah.
So I didn't have a chance to say I will see it with you if on the second weekend if certain rumors are proven to be false,
Ah.
which is kind of my
Yeah.
attitude. Like, okay, I will go
Yeah.
with somebody to see Indy 5 i- if he is not replaced by Phoebe Waller-Bridge at the end or and erased from the timeline.
Yeah. Same here.
Uh,
Um,
much the
yeah.
same way, if I hear, oh yeah, they brought in Finn and he's a Jedi now and he got to be cool and have a character arc, sold.
Sold. Yeah. And of course, Ninja Toe says, "I just hope they actually get a competent creative team this time."
About that,
Yeah. Um.
director who is known entirely for directing, is it fair to say woke documentaries or just say political documentaries?
I would say documentaries with with a political slant to them. Yeah.
Yes, political slanty documentaries,
Yeah.
because that worked so well for the Eternals.
Yeah.
And I think they got a writer who was reasonably competent after Damon Lindelof was told to go away and stop talking about it,
Yeah.
because this is apparently that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I'm. Yeah. It's hard for me to get excited about Star Wars at all right now.
And you've kept up with it way more than I have.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just it the day George Lucas sold the company to Disney, that's when it just it lost its soul.
Yeah, and that does seem to keep happening. That
Hmm.
one story that a friend of mine was telling me is that kind of like he kind of saw this coming with Disney or with Marvel and Star Wars was Disney's complete mismanagement of Power Rangers because they bought the rights to Power Rangers for their Disney XD cable channel because they needed something for the boys, and then they were kind of unhappy that they kept having to make new seasons because the contracts with Bandai or not with Toei for with Super Sentai seasons because they were kind of uncomfortable with how violent it was. In which case, why did you buy it in the first place?
Yeah.
I, I feel like Disney is at its very core a very like it's like up until you're 10, they're like you can enjoy Disney very well no matter what you are. But once you
Hmm.
hit like a certain age, they're only interested in you if you're a girl or a woman.
Yeah.
Because like those Disney sitcoms seem to be very focused that way. Um, the the Disney princesses. It's not like I thought you can't enjoy that stuff. Like Tangled was one of my favorite animated movies,
Hmm.
but it's like I was not the target audience for Tangled. I just happened to have enough like the Flynn was or whatever his name was cool.
Yeah. And hey, D Rhino, yeah, you, Ray
Yeah,
Palpatine.
yeah. I told Daniel before the show. Oh, I found the perfect image for this segment.
Yeah.
Just to remind people that no, Ray is not a Skywalker.
Yes. um yeah, I definitely agree with it. Yeah, that the way that Disney is, and even with the shows that are more geared towards boys, like it seems like they don't know how to do those, like, or not necessarily know how to do them, but like how to like market them.
Or like they're uncomfortable with them.
Yeah, yeah. It's you get a show like Darkwing Duck or uh, Tailspin. Oh God, what was
Gargoyles. They
Oh
were
yeah,
very
Gargoyles.
uncomfortable with gargoyles
Oh,
for a
it's
period.
very yeah. They didn't know what to do with that show.
Yeah, they accidentally made a story-heavy Ninja Turtles type show, and that was
Yeah,
having conventions a decade after it was canceled, and they let the brand die.
yeah. And that last season was just god awful.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's weird that they keep buying boys' properties. Like somebody must go, well, we need more boys' properties, and then
yeah,
they try to turn them into girls' properties quite often.
yeah, or yeah, they uh, make them tamer. Yeah,
Yeah,
they tone them down,
yeah.
and
Disney is not the company for edge.
yeah. As much as they try to be, it's not.
Well, D Rhino, I would say that the best revenge is
Yes,
would just be to ignore it unless it actually sounds good.
yeah, yeah. I would say so too. And
And
yeah,
a movie starring Ray Palpatine, Grogu, Chewbacca, and R2D2, you're going to need to do something amazing to make me
yeah,
interested.
yeah, yeah. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, but yeah, I think we've talked these. I think we've talked this to death.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost more like a group therapy. Star Wars Anonymous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
At least we're not. Uh, Disney just seems to be firing on no cylinders lately. Between Mario clowning them, the Marvels trailer where Ms. Marvel's actress was the only person actually who looked like she was having fun being there.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, kind of there's some dark, kind of a dark time, but also some hope,
Yep.
here and there.
Well, let's just say there's a reason I'm full disclosure a Comcast shareholder, not a Disney shareholder.
Yes. Yeah. Well, all right. Well,